The year is 1499. Along the rugged cliffs of Modon, a bell rings one last time across a valley that will never hear it again. Inside the convent of St. Theodora, 23 women kneel in prayer. Their lips move together, forming words they've repeated every morning for years. But this morning, the words taste different, like ash, like farewell. Beyond the stone walls, the horizon bleeds red. Not from sunrise, but from the banners of an empire that has swallowed kingdoms whole. The Ottoman army doesn't march. They flow like a river of steel and fire, erasing everything in their path. Abbess Helena clutches a silver crucifix that has survived 3 generations. Her hands tremble, not from fear, but from the knowledge of what is coming. They all do. What they cannot know, what history rarely records, is that death might have been mercy. What happens next won't be found in textbooks. It was buried, erased, hidden beneath centuries of silence. The Ottomans' conquest is more than territorial. It is methodical, calculated. The question isn't whether you can handle the truth, it's whether you are willing to remember it. Certain stories vanish from history, while others are endlessly retold. You are here to uncover one the world forgot. Through missionary letters, Ottoman state records, and testimonies buried in Venetian archives, every view, every subscription helps resurrect a lost voice. Now, we return to the convent, where the bell has stopped ringing and the doors are about to break. To understand what happened to these women, he must understand the machine that consumed them. 17 years earlier, in 1482, Constantinople fell. The jewel of Christendom, standing for over a millennium, destroyed in 53 days of cannon fire and blood. Hagia Sophia, once the greatest cathedral in the world, stripped of its crosses within hours. Mosaics plastered over, bells melted down. Within a week, the call to prayer echoed where hymns had sung for 9 centuries. Sultan Bayezid II stood in the nave and declared it a mosque, not because he needed another house of worship, but because he understood what most conquerors never grasp. You do not defeat a people by killing them. You defeat them by erasing who they are. The Ottomans conquered land, but they also conquered identity. Every surviving church bell, monastery, and nun praying in Latin is a declaration, an act of defiance, proof the old world refuses to die. And every woman who clings to prayer is a reminder that faith can outlast armies. So the Sultan made a decision. If they will not convert, they will vanish. Not through massacre. Massacre creates martyrs. Martyrs inspire resistance. Songs are written, stories told, the dead become immortal. The Ottomans perfected something far more subtle, something that leaves no songs, no stories, no memory, erasure. By 1499, this strategy had been tested across the empire. Greek monasteries along the Peloponnese, Serbian convents in the Balkans, Armenian churches in Anatolia. Some were converted, others abandoned, but the pattern remained. First came the offer, then silence. The convent of St. Theodora, perched on a hill far from garrisons, was about to become another experiment, another footnote in an empire's expansion. But these women were not footnotes. They were not warriors. Their weapons were rosaries. Their armor, faith. Most had never seen a soldier, held a blade, or imagined they would need to. Abbess Helena had led the convent for 14 years. Before that, she tended the sick in a village long swallowed by plague in 1480. She sought the convent not to escape the world, but to understand it. Sister Theodosia, 19, had taken her vows 2 years prior. Her hands still bore the calices of her family farm. She joined the convent after raiders killed her family. The convent had been her only refuge. Sister Kyra, 70, had survived 2 abbesses, an emperor, and countless wars. She had long stopped fearing death. None of them had faced this. If this moment in history doesn't stir you, you are missing the lesson our ancestors died to teach. The most dangerous act in the face of power is refusing to forget who you are. Then the first cannonball strikes, just after dawn, not the chapel, the bell tower. The sound is apocalyptic. Stone explodes, iron shrieks, the bell shatters mid-swing, pieces raining onto the courtyard, where sisters once grew herbs for healing. The same hands that tended the plants now cover their ears, trembling, Abbess Helena doesn't scream. She stands, crucifix raised, and begins to sing, Kyrie Elas, Lord have mercy. One by one, the others join. 23 voices rise against the roar of an empire. But empires do not listen to songs. By midday, the gates are breached. Soldiers pour into the courtyard, not with swords drawn, but ledgers, quills, inkpots. They move like clerks, not conquerors. To the Ottomans, these women are assets. A translator steps forward, a Greek man familiar with the hills. His voice shakes as he reads from a scroll. By order of Sultan Bayezid II, all subjects of conquered territories must submit. Those who convert will be protected. Those who refuse will face the consequences of rebellion. Abbess Helena steps forward, her face calm, almost serene. She speaks not to the soldiers, but to the translator, in Greek so clear everyone understands. Tell your sultan that we have already given our lives to a king. We have nothing left to surrender. The officer in charge, Hassan Pasha, whose name appears in Ottoman military records from the 1499 Modon campaign, does not respond with anger. He responds with a smile, chilling because he knows something the nuns do not. The Ottomans have perfected the art of breaking people without killing them. That night, the women are locked inside their own chapel, no food, no water. Only darkness and the sound of soldiers outside, laughing, eating, living, while they wait to see who will break first. Two younger sisters from the nearby coastal village begin to weep in the corner. Their sobs echo off the stone walls. But Sister Theodosia, barely 20, begins to whisper a psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Then another, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. One by one, the weeping stops. The Ottomans had underestimated them. These women had spent their lives preparing for suffering, fasting, vigils in the cold, hours of silence, submission to something greater than themselves. What the soldiers saw as torture, the nuns saw as discipline. But Hassan Pasha is patient. He has seen this before, in Greek monasteries along the Peloponnese, in Serbian convents, in Armenian churches. Faith is like a candle, he once wrote in a letter to the Sultan, still preserved in the Topkapı archives. It burns brightest just before it dies. He is about to test that theory. On the second day, the doors open. A servant enters with bread and water, real food, clean water. He sets it down without a word and leaves. The nuns stare. Their throats are dry, their stomachs hollow. The younger sisters look to Helena, desperation in their eyes. Sister Kyra, the eldest, speaks first. They want us to take it, to feel gratitude, to soften. Helena nods. Then they fast. They do not touch the food. By the third day, their lips are cracked and bleeding. Their hands shake. The younger sisters can barely stand, but they do not break. Hassan Pasha watches from the courtyard, arms crossed. Impressed, frustrated, perhaps a flicker of respect passes across his face. But strategy does not change. On the third day, the doors open again. This time, it is Hassan himself. He speaks in Turkish. The translator follows, like a shadow. You are not criminals. You are not enemies. You are simply mistaken. The Sultan is merciful. He offers new lives, new names, protection. Speak the words, or come with us to Constantinople. There, the Sultan will hear your case. Perhaps he will be moved by your conviction. He pauses. The road is long. The weak do not survive it. It is not a threat. It is a promise. Helena looks at her sisters, some barely conscious, some praying with eyes closed, some staring at the stone floor for strength. She turns back to Hassan. We will walk. The smile returns to his face. Good. We leave at dawn. That night, the nuns hold each other in darkness. No one speaks, but Theodosia begins to hum a hymn from Vespers. One by one, the others join. Outside, some soldiers pause, some look away. One of them, years later, will tell his grandson about the women who sang themselves through the night. But that story will be forgotten. At dawn, on the fourth day, 23 women walk south toward the coast, hands bound, on dusty roads under the relentless sun. No carts, no horses, only their feet, the dust and the burning sky. By the second day, Sister Irene, 62, collapses. Her knees have failed her. Magdalena and another nun, Sister Anna, lift her and carry her for 3 miles. At night, she is unconscious. By morning, she is gone. They bury her by hand with whispered prayers. Hasan Pasha notes in his ledger, 22 remain. On the fourth day, it happens again. Sister Callista, who has not spoken since the siege, simply sits in the middle of the road and closes her eyes. They leave her there. By the seventh day, when they reach the port of Modon, only 18 remain. But something unexpected happens. The nuns stop weeping, stop begging, they walk in silence. Not the silence of defeat, but of women who have already made their choice. Sister Helena leads them at the front, even with her hands bound. On the morning of the seventh day, Hassan calls for her. She is brought to his tent alone. What happens next is not in Ottoman records. It survives only in a Venetian merchant's letter discovered in 2003 in Dubrovnik archives. I saw them bring her back at dawn. She could not walk. Her eyes, God forgive me, were open, but she was not inside them. They dressed her in silk and paraded her through the camp as a convert, but I passed close enough to hear her lips moving. She was still praying in Latin. She had not broken. They took her body and left her soul to wander. This is the Ottoman strategy history does not teach. They did not want martyrs. Martyrs inspire resistance. Songs are written, stories are told. The dead become saints. They wanted ghosts. Women who would walk, eat, breathe, but never be whole again. Living proof that rebellion was futile. Sister Helena